Connect and chill. Totally different time today. You know how it is. IRL happens sometimes. I did not want to cancel because I'm really excited about this topic. And I know I have friends who also have lots to say about the topic. So this is Connect and Chill. I am Elle. If you haven't already, please go down to the bottom right, like, repost, drop a comment, tag your friends. Let's share the room out. For those that didn't know, it was rescheduled. If you're listening to the recording or on Audacity, thank you so much. Please find me on X. Let's connect. Let's talk. I love hearing what you guys like, dislike, or want to talk about in the future. I also like to mention that this is an open mic discussion. Everyone's welcome to grab the mic, get involved, ask questions, give their opinion. We do really prioritize respecting each other and mental health, though. So be cautious with not only what you say, but how you say it. I like the conversation to stay respectful, and we always do a good job at that, thankfully. So today's topic is free speech on social media. Does it exist? This has just been popping up so much right in front of us. I'm sure you guys are seeing it too. People going back and forth and right, lots of arguments, disagreements. So I thought it's a perfect time to kind of dive into this. But before we do, I want to say hi. We already have some speakers up here, my wonderful co-host. Thank you so much, Ben. I didn't know if you could make it, but I really appreciate you being here. It was very last minute for me, and it's awesome. So how are you? How's your day?
Hey, Liz, thanks for hosting. Yeah, this is going to be a great conversation. It's a magnificent day for us here in Cali. It's beautiful. Hopefully, it's the same for everyone here in this room as well. And we're really looking forward to getting into the conversation. Friends, we do have some official sponsors for this space. Ladies and gentlemen, Top Golf and Torrey Pines Golf Course is a proud sponsor of this space. So we do appreciate their sponsorship for 20 years and $999.99 trillion. So we appreciate you guys for all that you do for Connect and Chill and for Liz. With that being said, Liz, I will hand this back to you.
Awesome. Since the debate, that's all everyone can think about, myself included, is golf, right? Because that's all I got out of that whole thing. Yeah, and I'm like, wow, I need to go golfing more. So that's definitely going to be part of the Cali trip, in and out, and we're going to go golfing. It's 100% happening. But I want to say hi to some of the other speakers too. I see we have Web Crypt. Nice to meet you. I don't think you've been a part of Connect and Chill before. Want to say hello? Let us know what you're doing today, GM. No, it's cool. I know sometimes you throw the mic at people and they're not ready for it yet. So whenever you want to chat and join the discussion, you're more than welcome to. But we also have Creative. What's going on? Happy Saturday.
Yo, what's going on, man? I'm out and about, kind of running around right now, but I definitely had to come in and show love to one of my favorite spaces and one of my favorite hosts. You know what I mean? And say what's up.
That's awesome. I'm happy that you made it. I know it's in the middle of the day on a Saturday, so it's kind of smack dab for us. On the East Coast, it's 5 o'clock. So I was hoping, people are home. They've run their errands. They went to Costco already. They got what they had to get, and now maybe prepping for dinner. So yeah, the topic, right? Freedom of speech on social media. I think there are a lot of different viewpoints on this, and I'll just start with mine, right? I'll just be straight up and honest. There are a couple different ways to approach this, but I think that if someone is posting their beliefs on their page, that's okay. But it changes if they're spreading lies. We get into disinformation and misinformation. Then it's different. How we have community notes. Maybe there's the need there to check people, but I've seen a lot of people just calling each other out and having very brash, aggressive disagreements over posts, and I don't really understand it. And that's what made me want to bring up this topic. So if someone posts something on their page that they believe in and I disagree, I don't think that I should go to that person's page and attack them for what they think. Like I said, if they are just saying their opinion, of course, if they're spreading big lies, then I get how that changes things. But I see a lot of people attacking those who are, holding certain spaces, sharing what they think. I've seen a lot of bullying lately, even bullying to the point where people are talking about someone's appearance. And I just think that is super lame and petty, immature. I don't think that should ever be brought up. But it's happening, right? And it's just someone on their own platform, on their own page speaking. So I wanted to talk about this because I am obviously into spreading, positivity, good vibes. That's what I do here on X, and that's what I try to do in my life. And we did another space on setting boundaries. So for me, like if someone is very parallel in their thinking and I just, I don't like it or I don't like their style, I just won't engage. And for me, that works. But I'm really interested in knowing what you guys think. Like, why do you guys think people are doing this? Or if you do this, why is that important to you? Do you find that it's something positive for you? Because I think it would bring me a lot of negativity and it wouldn't do me any justice. But again, everyone's different. And that's why it's an open conversation. So, why don't we get into it? What do you think, Ben? What are your thoughts? How does this work for you? I know I've spoken to you about some of the bullying I've seen that is very upsetting, but it happens, right? Social media, we have keyboard warriors and all that other stuff. So I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah, this is a great topic. Okay, so freedom of speech and social media is very challenging, especially this time of year. And, everyone has their opinions and everyone wants to think that they're right. But the reality is, opinions are that. It's not a fact. So, you are entitled to what you believe. Listen, I'm with you. Um, you are entitled to share what is on your mind, share what's on your heart, as long as you do it respectfully. And Liz, you're right. You don't call people out. You don't spread lies. You don't do any of that. You going to everything you mentioned, if you're doing it on your own page and you're letting others know what you believe in, that's totally cool. I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate you sharing your beliefs. But to your point, my friend, when you spread lies and you attack others, that's kind of where it's crossing the line, and I'm not cool with that either. I see that a lot lately, and you know, we need to do better as a society. We need to be more understanding of each other's, ideas and beliefs. Um, and it's honestly upsetting that we are in 2024 and this is still a reoccurring issue. You know, so that's kind of my mindset. Uh, but I do want to hear our fellow speakers. So creative, I want to hear from you, my brother.
Yo, what's going on? I mean, looking at the topic, it says, is free speech on social media, does it exist? I would just say from the standpoint that I see on X, it's more called, I call it selective free speech, because we see certain people getting suspended, we see certain people getting banned, we see certain people um, having issues with their account, and sometimes they're just reposting something somebody else has said. But depending on the size of your account, they let it slide. Depending on what kind of agenda that you're pushing, it's let slide. They let that stuff slide. Um, so if especially when it comes to Elon, like it's like, okay, if you push if you push narratives, if you push content that Elon likes, you can pretty much say what you want as long as it's something that he likes, right? If you say something against what he likes, then you're probably gonna get suspended, banned, whatever, depending on what you're saying. So I think it's really, really selective. And then when it comes to free speech, there's also, we look at censorship, right? And there's various ways to censor somebody without suspending their account as well. And I've seen some of the tactics on here on X as well be done, like over talking somebody. If I over talk you and I shout over you, then that kind of kills your free speech, right? Because I'm not allowing you to have the opportunity to clearly and concisely voice your opinion. So when it comes to spaces, when it comes to, um, when it comes to content, when it comes to disinformation, things of that nature. Um, recently, I want to say I got like 100,000 like impressions off of this stupid thing that I said, as far as like just a stupid reply, just being funny. But then when you push out like truth and honesty and a lot of those things, it doesn't really see the same kind of matrix, right? And so you kind of wonder, like, okay, what's really free speech? And with Elon owning this platform, he kind of defines what it is, but he's never really given anybody a real definition of what that means to him, right? Or what free speech looks to him. And this is his platform. He just kind of like picks and chooses. You can kind of see it if you pay attention to not the algorithms and stuff, because that's all BS. But if you pay attention to how things are manipulated and how certain people, you'll find that they'll be pushing narratives on this platform that they don't even believe in, but it's popular, it's hot, it's polarizing, just to get the impressions. There's a lot of that going on. So I think at the end of the day, what needs to happen is Elon, being the owner of this platform, needs to really sit down and push out a definition of what free speech really means. Because I've seen somebody get banned for a Barney video, and I'm like, really? Like, we're really getting banned for that kind of stuff? But I've seen other videos where people get shot and killed, or people getting other violent crimes happening to them, and then nothing happens to those individuals, right? So I just think, moving, when it comes to free speech, I think when it comes to a lot of social media, not just X, there's a lot of selective free speech.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to put it. I was going to get into this platform, of course. Oh, I think okay, we're good. And Elon Musk, right? So, I mean, there was such a push, and one of the most incredible things about Musk taking over X was that he was going to promote free speech, right, and let everyone have a voice, diverse opinions, open dialogue, real time discussions. We have these spaces, but under his ownership, there's definitely a lot of questions I have as well about moderation and what content is okay or who can say it and who can't. And I think you touched on that perfectly. Certain accounts get away with saying things that are just complete, like 100% obvious misinformation, harmful content, things that are concerning, and they have a huge following. They're also monetized, so they're getting rewarded for it. And nothing happens. And then you have another random small account and they get shut down over nothing. We all know customer support here on X has not been the best either. So that's something that's a problem. I would love for there to be actual guidelines for what is okay and not okay to talk about. And these community notes are clearly not enough. And I mean, it's a lot of work too. There's so many users. The community notes team can only do so much. So yeah, definitely work in progress, but we have other speakers. So we'll keep handing the mic around. I saw your hand go up, Zero. I'd love to hear your opinion.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for letting me speak. I just wanted to say, with regards to like the censoring and people getting reported and their reach and that kind of stuff on the platform, you got to keep in mind a lot of this stuff is done by like algorithms and that, and they're like automated. So when you have an algorithm that decides what's popular and what's not, it doesn't really look that much at the content of the post. It looks at how much users spend their time on the post and how much interaction it gets, and its main goal is to boost user interaction and put the posts that people spend the most time with forward so people see them more, right? Like its whole goal is to keep people on the platform and busy and using the platform and that kind of stuff, right? So of course the larger accounts that have like millions of followers are going to get more attention because of that, because the algorithm's designed for that. They've been trying to tweak the algorithm so it gives smaller accounts a little bit more visibility in that, but they're still working on that. So that's just one thing I wanted to bring up. Just because the big accounts aren't getting reported, that's not necessarily, it's because the automated algorithm crap. The other thing is a lot of this stuff where people are getting banned and blocked right away in that's all on the user side of things. They don't have a team that sits in an office somewhere and just decides who gets blocked and who doesn't. Most of that is the users, your followers, the people that see your content complaining about you. Once you get complained at about, I don't know, so many times, whatever the number is, I'm pretty sure they just automatically block you. And then when you complain about it and like, hey, I shouldn't be blocked for this, then a human comes in and unblocks you. At least that's my understanding of how they've been doing that. Like, it's not like they fired a lot of people when Elon took over the platform, right? So it's not like they have like 1,000 people in an office somewhere just keyboard slamming, trying to get through all the stuff, trying to moderate everything. A lot of it's automated. And as they go through the system, they are removing a lot of those automated things where if you look, trying to remember, I don't remember who posted it, but somebody posted recently about a bunch of stuff that they removed out of the coding. And it was a lot of stuff to do with if you talked about COVID or misinformation or a bunch of other random stuff. Like if you talked about presidential elections and stuff like that, it actually devalued your posts. But they've been deleting a lot of that coding as they find it. So it is getting better. It's just, yeah, it's just going to take time. They got a small team. They got a lot on their plate.
Right, absolutely. I completely agree with that. I understand that it's automated. It's just unfortunate that it's not working, so I'm just hoping for something better. Like I know another tactic that people have been doing, especially like in Web3, is if someone's supporting a project that one group doesn't like, they'll bot their spaces. And then after X amount of botted spaces, it like sends out a flag to the system like you're talking about, and then that person's account will get suspended. And in some cases, they get it back in a decent amount of time. Some people, I know, like my friend waited a year to get the account back. And, we're here building and a lot of us are paying. I recently gave in. I went back to the blue check to try it out after I gave up on it earlier in the year. But we'll see if it's good or not. I'm going to, I've been watching. So, we're trying, we're paying for the platform and it just needs to be better. So I agree with you, though. What you're saying makes sense, right? There were a lot of people that were removed. Elon came in and kind of cleaned house. But anyway, Tala, your hand is up. I'd love to hear your opinion.
Hey, good to see you. So, I'm experiencing the same thing this morning that Creative mentioned. We've been talking about it this morning. Stupid shit. I've got this silly story that I added to someone else's similar silly story about how to deal with phone scammers. That's what blows up. I just posted a rant video about that. It's now 125,000 views. But no, not the story about my brother who's a cancer survivor. Not the stuff that's inspiring about my own journey, you know? Not the stuff about quality of life or anything that's really important. That's not going to blow up. And I did a little experiment. I even took that link for, I think, well, both of them, the story about my brother and also one of my best recently performing writings that I did from the WTF Writers Therapy Family Space. We did a little assignment, so that performed fairly well for my stuff, and so I tacked it onto the one that's just blowing up right now, just to see, will it boost it? How much will it boost it? Will people open it? A few, it boosted it a little, but they're less likely to open that, even though it's right there, you know. But this thing has, let me see, let me look at it here. 125,000 views, 29 reposts, 3 quotes, 595 likes, 10 bookmarks. I'm not going to see that on my really important posts. So, yeah, there's a problem. And it's the whole thing about the algorithm. Okay, first of all, they shouldn't be promising that they're going to improve things for the real content creators if they can't deliver. Like, just zip it and don't tell us that until you actually can make that happen. That's the problem I have. They shouldn't be saying that. And also, I can't say how I know. So let me just say this. Don't think that it's all as automated as you think. I mean, some of it is, but do not think that if you if you aggravate someone who has the power, you might find yourself suppressed. I'm not going to say how I know. I've seen it happen. And yeah, so you kind of have to be careful what you say about who. Like, just me saying that right now is risky, but I'm going to say it because I'm just kind of fed up. So, and there's a reason Creative calls me Miss DMX. I'm not going to filter myself.
There we go. There is another opinion. I was wondering if anyone was going to mention that maybe it's not just the bots. And I think that's true too. I definitely agree with you. But, being completely honest, I don't have any proof of that. So I just want to, be transparent. It's just my opinion. It's just from what I've seen happen to friends. But, I wish I had something, some hard proof to, show you guys. But this is another reason I wanted to have the discussion.
One
So
extra
thanks. I
little
think Tala has
one
insight.
extra little
Oh, go
note
ahead.
for you. He mentioned the Barney video. I forgot to say this. Sometimes it's a copyright issue, which I totally understand why they're cracking down on some of that. And I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. I've shared videos that I'm like, that is so cool. I just want to share it. But, if I know where to give credit, I try to do that. But, we've kind of all done it. But yeah, a lot of times it's copyright issues and you don't even realize.
Yeah, that's true too. And that I can understand. I think we're all being very understanding, not trying to just point fingers or, complain about things that weren't promised to us. That was another good point you made, is that we do keep getting told, like, this is going to get better. We're working on this, we're pushing this update. And then it's just like, okay, but when? When though? So, Zero, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say you brought up some really good points there. I agree with some of the stupider posts tend to explode, and then like the serious ones you actually put a lot of time into don't take off, and they're like really really slow growth. But I think the reason for that, I found that the posts that seem to do well or the best seem to be short and stupid and to the point, and that's because you're on a platform where people are like just thumb scrolling past things, right? So if it catches their attention, if they're in the bathroom for 5 minutes or something like that, or they're just checking their phone while they're waiting to be called in line or something like that. Like that's when people are looking at the app, right? Like when they're sitting there wasting 5 minutes somewhere here and there, right? So like if you think about your personal experience on the app, when somebody writes something that's like a 4-page essay, how often are you conveniently at that time sitting somewhere where you're going to read a 4-page essay? Most of the time it's like a 5 minute, just scroll next, scroll next. A lot of people might bookmark it, but then I'm bad for that. I'll bookmark something and then I'll completely forget about it. And I might look through my bookmarks like a month later and actually read the damn thing. But I think that's a lot of the problem with it. Like, yeah, it's also who sees your post too. Like if you have a post that's like a real banger and nobody sees it, then yeah, it's not going to do well. But as soon as one big account with like 1 million followers sees that and likes it or reposts it, chances are some of their percentage of followers are going to pick up on that too. So it's really, really, really hard to gauge why something takes off and why something doesn't without seeing all the stats behind it, even if it's the same post posted in different places at different times or something like that. It's just a lot of it's just fluke. But yeah, I find short and sweet and to the point, those seem to do way better. And I would love my serious content to get out more. I find the only way to really do that is to post it around or like reshare your own posts in similar discussions. That seems to work really well. It's a slow build, but eventually they get where they need to go, right?
Right. Absolutely. It's true. I mean, it's kind of funny though, like you're saying, you take something that got these impressions that's totally unrelated, and then you have to like try to utilize that for something else that's so serious and should get the attention. And then, some of the advice we've gotten from those that say they've hacked the algo is like go to these big accounts, set notifications, you comment right away something that's awesome, and then you get the impressions, you get more attention. And it's like, who wants to do that though? Like, we'll start playing that game. It's just, and I will be again transparent. I've done it. Like for a hot sec, I was like, I could do this. And, my friend did it, and she, got all these followers. She was growing, et cetera. I thought about it. I did, and then I'm like, wait, this isn't me. Like, I'm not interested in this page or, this fake engagement post to find attention. And I think it was really summarized perfectly. Tala commented down below a post that she wrote, and I was just, skimming it as I'm here, and it's just exactly how I felt, right? Like just being another average cog in the machine that will grind you up and spit you out eventually. That's how I felt. I'm like, wait, I already spent so much time here. I'm at least gonna be me, and this is me. Like a lot of you guys know me. I've had the pleasure of connecting with you all in different projects or just different conversations and spaces, and like to motivate people to do that is just lame. And it's not just this platform. I do want to mention that again. I'm not like attacking X, because let's be honest, I spend most of my time on X, and it's my favorite social media. It is like I use it more than the rest, but I just think it could be so much better, and they're not trying. So it's like, let's talk about it. Well, we do have hands. Harley just joined in, so I'll let you go, and then we'll go back to zero. What's up, Harley? GM.
GML. Wow, I love the topic, and it's it's the thing. Like we thought, like initially, we thought we need to do that because that's what they're doing. It's what everyone's doing. But then afterwards, when when you know yourself already, that's when you reflect, and it kind of like you're exhausted of what you're doing, and it doesn't make sense. It's like what the fuck I'm doing, and well, it's just good for for yourself, for myself as well. Like now what works for you, or what are the things that you can you can accept doing and you cannot, or that that's one way to discover things about yourself on how you go about things. And if you are because it's not, I think it's not everyone um kind of look inside, kind of reflect and check if it's still them, or if it still aligns to what they believe in, everything about them. And yeah, it's just me too. I don't the formatted tweets. I was like, ugh. Whenever it goes to my timeline, I was like uh, trying to scroll faster than as fast as I can. It's like, oh my god, why do they need to do that? Like have the formatted, wherein it's better if you have a free flow. It doesn't matter anyway. Why do it needs to be like a poem? Anyway, thank you for the space, El. Love it. And yeah, good morning to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely, Harley. I'm so glad to see you in here. I know you're a person that grinds on X. Like you are doing spaces with so many different people and projects, and you even do like the video streaming. You really put in a lot of time and work, and you're doing it that way, right? That's what works for you too. I think we have very similar personalities.
Yeah, well, for me, I just can't. I don't do anything else. What should I do then? I love doing it actually. It's like I love connecting to, from one project to another, wherein I don't work for those projects, and then I was able to connect them. It's in a way giving me satisfaction, and kind of assuring myself that yeah, you're doing good, Harley. So at least you have that, and it's hard to work from home, and at least you have something that you look forward to. At least you have something that you're happy to happily doing it, even if it's not the usual things that you've been doing from the past years of your life. So I discovered something new that I love doing, and yeah, it's a world that we're discovering, and it's nice to have friends in here, doing this. So yeah, kind of like um, a teenager do, going everywhere. Yeah, glad to have this. Glad to be here as well on your space, Al. It's been a while.
I know it's been a minute, so it was good. It was meant to be, right? The time switch, it happens. I'm seeing people I haven't talked to in a while, so it's all good. Again, I appreciate all of you for spending part of your day with me. It means so much. I love, hearing your opinions, hearing your thoughts. But Zero, thanks for your patience. Back to you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for letting me talk. This is actually a pretty good space. I was just going to say that, yeah, ignoring the algorithm is probably the best thing you can do. In all honesty, like, the algorithm is trying to figure out what people on the platform want, right? So as soon as everybody starts playing the algorithm game, it's like, oh, that's what they want. So then it gives you more of the algorithm game. It's stupid, but it's what happens, right? Like it's literally an algorithm trying to figure out what you want, and then you're like, oh, people think that like if I eat dirt 3 days a week, that's actually good because that'll make the algorithm boost me because nobody eats dirt, so that's like a good thing. That's like a good niche. So then everybody's eating dirt, and then the algorithm's like, oh, people like eating dirt. I should do more of that. And then like it snowballs itself. The best thing you can actually do to help X get better is ignore that stupid algorithm and just do whatever the freak you want.
Go ahead,
Now
Harley.
I just want to open my mic, and I was just gonna laugh like, oh my god, oh my god, yeah. Thank you so much for that. You made my day.
I know, I love that too. It's so true, right? Whatever they say, and there's a certain person who I won't name who claimed to have cracked the code and has posted the code and the algorithm, and he'll just rephrase the same post 80
Oh my
times a week.
I went to his spaces, and I cracked the code, for him to follow me as well. I subscribed to him, and that's like $10. And yeah, I go to his spaces like, what the fuck is this shit show? And well, I was on the audience. He has like I don't know, 20 or 16 subscribers that day. That's on the space, and they were like trying to get to the stage, like trying to get there faster than anyone. But me, I just stay there. And I don't care. I was just listening to what he said. It's like, what the fuck is this garbage? Who's And everyone is trying to be louder than anyone. Like, why? It's like they try to have their voice louder. Like, oh my god, it's tiring. And I never went there again. It's like, yeah, why? Anyway, I just want to share that. But yeah, he follows me because of that, and I unsubscribed afterwards.
Yeah, I was in a space with Diligence Space the other night there, and they were talking with Mark, like the guy, he's in charge of media and all that stuff. It was hilarious how many things people were thinking were happening, and he's like, yeah, it doesn't actually do that. And it was just like, that's just a small example, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I also love that you guys all knew the person without naming the person. We are all on the same page there. But Ben, I haven't heard from you, so go ahead. We'll get to you, and then you can just pass it to those speakers.
Sure. You know, everyone here has made excellent points with the algorithm because the thing is, right, the algorithm is always constantly changing and no one really knows how it works. I've been on this platform, or I came back on this platform last year, and, there were a lot of so called experts thinking they knew how the algorithm works. The reality is it's always changing. So you really don't know what's working, right? And, Zero, to your point, it's really what's trending. You brought up the short and sweet statements that always tend to get the most engagements. And that's true. That's the one that's going to get the impression because it's just quick to read. You can scroll on, you can keep going. I'm going to use this as an example. The amount of times I've seen is hot dog a sandwich on this app since last year is mind-boggling. We all know the answer to that, but we won't go down that path, right? Those are the kind of uh, tweets that or posts that are always just going to because it's kind of ridiculous. Everyone's going to have their opinions, but people keep it lighthearted. I think that's why those tend to really do well. A lot of times the normal post, if you talk about certain things, it may not go as well, right? So, if the thing I've also noticed is if you're too repetitive on certain topics, you tend to not do well, and that's one of the things I've kind of noticed from the amount of time I've kind of been on this platform. So as we get to Creative and Tala, Les, we do have a couple of new sponsors for the space based off of the conversation up to this point. So, friends, we are proud to announce that Nathan's Hot Dog is a proud sponsor of the space. Once again, Nathan's Hot Dogs are proud sponsors of the space based off of the conversation up to this point. And then the next sponsor for the space is also Steam. Once again, Steam is a proud sponsor of the space. So if you love video games and you love connecting with others, Steam is definitely your go-to. And then Loving Legend List, this is a personal shout out for you. So we definitely made a concerted effort to reach out to Buffalo Bills, the New York Yankees, to make sure they're a proud sponsor of your space as well. With that being said, I would love to hear Creative, Tala, and Back to Zero.
Yo, what's going on once again? I kind of got to find my little quiet spots around here, walking through this mall, trying to do some school shopping for my little one. But um, everything that you guys are saying is really, really on point. We already know that to stay away from, these algorithm gurus and stuff. We already know that they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Plus, what makes it even worse, on top of the algorithm just naturally doing what algorithms do as far as changing and stuff like that, I want to say, I think it's like every Thursday, Elon sends people in there to kind of tweak things and mess with things. Then on top of all of that, to add another layer to that, he's trying to push these features and add new features and mess with other features and stuff. And like when I first got onto X and I started really engaging in spaces, I told people from the jump, I said, look, everybody just need to stop talking about the algorithm, because what Elon is trying to do is go in and pretty much try to do digital heart surgery, right? You take out a little piece of the code, it's going to crash or mess something else up. You tweak this, you tweak that. Code is very, very sensitive, and a lot of times code is written in like a signature style, so you have to be very mindful of what you're doing, especially the fact that he fired a lot of people. So now he has a small team trying to do different features, trying to do this, trying to do that. There is probably pretty much like one team trying to do everything, when there usually is, when it comes to social media platforms, there's usually teams dedicated to certain features. They're dedicated to customers, they're dedicated to live stream, they're dedicated to spaces, they're dedicated to posts and articles and things of that nature. And when you fire 80% of the damn workforce, now you got 20% trying to do what the other 80% pick up that workload, right? Um, so it makes it very, very difficult. That's why I always tell people, like, why are they continually trying to add certain features that we haven't even perfected the features that we have now, and you're starting to add all these other features and stuff like multiple video spaces, and where now you can have multiple people in video, you can have multiple, you have live stream, you have this and that and the other. So definitely have to be mindful for that. And yes, everybody knew who El was talking about for the most part. If you've been on X longer than a month, I'm sure everybody knew who he was talking about. But um, when it comes, and then coming back to free speech, that's another thing. In order for us to really fully engage and Elon really, really want to have free speech, outside of defining it, I should be able to reach out to the X team and say, hey, look, this is, get a consensus of kind of like what people want. And when it comes to the free speech, it would help him kind of fine tune what free speech will look like for X. And then he could put something out saying, hey, on X, this is what free speech means to us on X, or this is what we believe free speech is to be. Be very, very mindful when you ask for free speech, though. Understand, and like I've been trying to encourage people to be very, very mindful due to certain trends that I've been seeing going on X. Um, with that girl that used the N word, and now that's a whole another trend. But just be very, very mindful and understand that free speech doesn't mean that you're free from consequence. So just because you're allowed free speech, it doesn't resolve, or it doesn't get rid of, or it doesn't eliminate consequences. Yes, you have the right to say whatever you want to say, have whatever opinion you want to say, feel however you feel. If you, I seen a video the other day. This dude said he identifies as being a subway rat. Okay, cool, that's fine. You could be a subway rat all day long. There's just certain things that come with that, and that you have to just be mindful that that you accept the good, the bad, and the ugly when you do have free speech. So just moving forward, I just want to put that in people's mind. Just be mindful. What I mean, what you say, and if you're proud to say that, or if you're confident saying that, and you want to stand on that, that's cool. Be able to stand on that, but just understand that there's certain things that come with that, and it's not just always good, and it's not just always bad. So.
Right. I wasn't sure where you were going with that. I thought you were going to say, like, say with your chest or something. Like,
Slam
stand
with the
on it.
chest.
I completely agree with you. That's a good point, right? To mention a lot of times people ask for things, and then when they get it, do they really understand what that means? And that's what I said at the beginning too. I think that disinformation, misinformation, all of that is a huge problem, and it's not okay. Like that should not be okay at all. But it's just, I guess, how are we going to work that out or fix things? Whether it's the algorithm, like you're saying, I do think there just needs to be clear rules, just so we know what to expect. Because when we don't know what they're saying is okay to say, what freedom of speech means to X, what X believes in, right? Like we're just here talking in a room about it and guessing based on what we see. And it just changes a lot. So it's hard to just say that it's black and white too. It's very gray. But anyway, let's hand it back to Tala.
Hey, first I want to say I see Hoops down there in the listeners. I have not seen you in a minute. It's good to see you. Um, I think the algorithm is a lot simpler than what a lot of people make it out to be, honestly. And yeah, of course, we all know who you're talking about. I'll be nice. I won't say his name. If it was MySpace, I would just say his name because I am just not that filtered. But here's what I've discovered going through my settings. This system will notice things that you've opened, even if you're opening it like, oh my God, what is this? Right? Those moments. Resist. I have a very hard time resisting it myself because I'm like, what is this? Yeah. It will notice if you accidentally open an ad. Have you noticed how easy it is to accidentally tap on an ad and open it? Yeah. So I'm just saying, go check your settings. Go look to see what is tick marked in your interests. Because I just went through mine the other day and unchecked a bunch of stuff that I know I did not check. Go check it. Seriously. Get rid of stuff that you don't want to see. And you have to do that regularly because it just automatically goes, oh, you opened this 3 times. You must be interested in that. Let's put that in the interests. Yeah. I had forgotten about it. So I looked at it recently and went, what is all of this garbage? Yeah. Gilo does something also. He's reduced the people that he's following massively, way more than I ever will. And I get it. He's a family man. He's got a brother who is severely disabled right now that is depending on him for a lot, everything. And, he's got kids, he's got a wife, he's got his businesses, he's got, property and stuff going on in Hawaii as well as where he's living now. And if he were to try to spend time consuming content from everybody he's following, yeah, he just couldn't. So he's under 100 now. I was teasing him. I said, hey, I won't be sad as long as you don't unfollow me. He goes, no, you're family. I'm all, yeah. So, but what he'll do is use the bookmarks, the lists, and put topics and people there that he wants to consume that content specifically. So he'll go open those later. And that makes it so that it's even narrower than just going to the following tab. And I would wager that he doesn't even open the For You tab anymore. I'm bad about that. I'm like curious about what else is going on in the world and I want to see stuff. But, when you spend a number of years severely disabled like I did, and now it's like I'm always on the verge. I'm way more functional than I used to be. Like I went out to the woods this morning and did my workout, my beginning of my workout at about 6,000 foot elevation because I'm trying to boost my red blood cell production. I look for all the natural resources I can to do all that stuff. And so I'm way better than I used to be. However, I'm always aware that I'm on the verge and I have to be careful. That was what happened last year. It was August. It was hot. I needed to set up a kennel for my rescues and I powered through it. I got dehydrated. I got overheated and I have spent the last year paying the price for that stupidity. So I'm just now starting to get my neurological system under control again, and I have to be careful not to push myself over that edge. But with that in mind, I live where in the summer we can hit 3, 4 weeks solid at one point coming, probably August, where it's over 100 degrees every day. It's so hot at night, you can't open up the house at night. Our peak temperature is 116 degrees. I'm temperature sensitive. So this time of the year, it's naturally assumed I don't leave the house very much. So I can't spend my whole day working out. I can't spend the entire day cleaning and organizing, and I have a lot of that to do, but I have to kind of balance it out. So yeah, I probably spend more time on social media than I should, but it's, stare at the ceiling or that,
Right, right. And in that case, I mean, you need to socialize. That's also your mental health. Like I always bring it back to The Sims. Everything else could be going good, but if that social meter is on E, they just go crazy. It just isn't right. So I don't blame you, girl. So this is why you have the alpha, because I always hear you dropping tidbits about X and how it works. It is all that time you put in here. You're like out there on the field figuring it out for us. But we do have some hands. Ben, we'll go back to you, and then you can spread the mic out.
Yeah, the other thing I would add is going back to earlier when we talked about free speech in general, right? Free speech and debate is such a important issue in this country. If you go back to kind of all the presidential debates, I think these last two elections, this one and the previous one, it just has been so mind-boggling in terms of the way the candidates just go after each other. They always try to um, go after each other's character, so they always try to say, well, the other person isn't fit to lead this country, the other person is incoherent. And I think when you start doing that, it's not going to help this country. They're not focusing on the main issues. They're focusing more on trying to bring down each other's character. And I think that's a horrible way for any candidate to run this country. And I'm going to keep saying this for everyone in this space. Okay. If you live in the US, right, and you're a citizen of this country, or you're a resident in this country, and you're seeing what's going on, we have a lot of issues, and both candidates being in their 80s is extremely concerning. You have one candidate that every time he speaks, he's incoherent and he doesn't know half the stuff he's saying. The other president, in all honesty, he's a felon. He's a convicted felon. So this country has a lot of laws that I wish they fix. And Liz, I didn't really want to get extremely political today, but it's just really concerning, especially when they brought up golf, which I don't know how that's going to fix this country. We have a lot of issues that pertains to, what is going to do best for everyone in here. And yet y'all talking about, who's going to win in a golfing match. You might as well talk about each other's high school basketball careers. I mean, I brought this up to Creative and Liz yesterday. I feel like that's going to be the next debate that they bring up, which means we need younger candidates. That's why we need anyone in this room. I would write your name in as a ballot and you would get my vote immediately. There's no questions asked, because the way this country is heading for the next 4 years, it's concerning. That's why I'm proposing that we all take a nice vacation, maybe 6, 7 years, maybe 10 years, right? Just to play it safe. We go to Cancun, we go to Cabo, we take a cruise to the Caribbean, we go anywhere. You just got to leave this country for the time being until everything gets sorted out. Because we're really heading down a path that I think we haven't seen before, and I think it's going to be really concerning. Also, one more sponsor for you, Liz. This is now brought to you in part by Margaritas, which is a great time for a beverage check. So now is a great time to grab your water, your alcoholic choice of beverage. If you like beer, it's totally cool. Anything of your choosing, feel free to do that. We have hands, so we'll go to Harley and then Zero.
Thank you so much. And I remember the time where, about the algorithm and how, I don't know how it's this way is like social listening. I don't know if it has something to do with the device, but I definitely know that when you search something from your Google, everything follows. Try to search a product on your Google, and everything, or every ads on your socials will be kind of the same. But the craziest experience that I had was, I was just talking about, well, I said I want to have a car too, like, and I didn't type that or anything. I just said that just once, and then everything on my Facebook ads was about cars. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you listening? Oh my fucking god! That's just crazy because I, God, that's crazy shit. And that was scary. They're listening, they're watching. Oh my god.
Definitely. I agree with you. I had a similar situation happen, and it was kind of silly. We were talking about Bigfoot by my TV, and then I turned on the TV and the YouTube ads were like Bigfoot. It was really weird. Some show where people are out in the woods chasing him. And I'm like, I've never watched this show. I didn't even know this existed, but it worked because then I started watching the show of these people hunting Bigfoot. And so they know what they're doing between the phones, the computers, and like Alexa. She listens. I had to start unplugging her because that girl's out of control. You see the little light on when it's in your kitchen, but this is a whole nother rabbit hole. Harley, you're getting me thinking thoughts about other spaces because these devices, they get me going. Alexa's unplugged in a box somewhere now because I'm done with her. But who was next? I think Zero. What do you think?
I think that's hilarious, but true. Yeah, as soon as you give any device with any sort of like mic or AI functionality or whatever access to your mic, yeah, you're done. Like me and my wife, we've actually talked lots about different stuff, and she has her mic turned on, like so that stuff in her phone can access it. I have my phone like locked down, and like we've every time I talk with her about something and her phone's around, yeah, it shows up. Mine leaves me alone, but yeah. So your phone, anything you have in your smart TV, even your smart TV can listen to you. Anything with any sort of functionality all on a mic, you're basically screwed. But anyway, uh, okay. So anyway, I wrote notes because there was a few different. We kind of bounced all over the place. There were some topics. So yeah, as for we'll go with the presidential candidates, but or whatever. You don't have any candidates with any substance. That's your problem. Like all your candidates are just trying to tear each other down because they don't have anything that they're planning on building on the side, right? It's just currently you're stuck in a bipartisan system. I'm Canadian, so I don't really care what you do. I personally would vote for RFK if I was there, but Canadian, none of my business. But you got a pendulum between the two main parties, and they're just pushing everybody else out, and they're just going back and forth between these two main parties that what that does is this party screws over that party, and then this party screws over that party, and then you got to pay attention like 5 years out because when one party's about to leave power, they will do everything in their power to screw over the next party that's going to get in. So if they know they're going to lose, they'll set up a bunch of stuff to make it a miserable experience for the next party so that they do poorly, and then you're naturally going to vote for them again because that last party sucked. Like it's like a pendulum yo-yo game that they do over there. I noticed we got the same problem in Canada between the Liberals and the Conservatives. I guarantee you, next election we're going to be voting in the Conservatives because we're like we had Liberals in and they fucked everything up, and then now we're going to put Conservatives in and they're going to fuck everything up, and it's just going to we got the same problem in Canada. It's just a pendulum where both parties just try and screw each other out of everything every time, every chance they get, and it's terrible. You need third party. You need a third party to get in there and fix some stuff. Anyway, going to compete with Tala there with the temperatures. Where I live, we go all the way up to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 35 degrees Celsius in my temperature, but 95 degrees Fahrenheit in your temperature. And then in the wintertime, we can go all the way down to negative 61 degrees Fahrenheit. That's negative 52 degrees Celsius. It's ridiculous. Like we did that. That was like our record breaking cold like a couple years ago. And I remember I tried to go in the house and like the doorknob literally came off in my hand. Like it just broke right off the door. The door didn't open. The doorknob just snapped clean off in my hand. I was like, son of a, I had to go in the back door. It was terrible, but funny. Let's go all the way back to this now. The reason they're adding so many features to X, I think they're trying to get more revenue positivity because right now X is still technically hemorrhaging money. I think they're still burning through like 2 billion a month or a year or something. I forget what the numbers were, but they're still burning through money right now. Like Elon's still kind of keeping it afloat. So I think what they're hoping to do with adding all these extra features on top of each other and everything, and I think they're just trying to find a spot where they can be revenue positive comfortably without any ebb and flow and like yeah, there's just lots of weird stuff. Uh, as for the filters, yeah, those are hilarious. I agree. I've actually complained to them about that because you get like somebody will post something with a picture and it's like, oh, sensitive content. But now you're like, well, what kind of sensitive content? So like you get like that itchy part in the back of your brain, you're like, well, oh, let's check it out. So you click on it, right? And you're like, then you're like, oh God, no. Or you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. But like I was complaining. They need to put more details on that filter so that you know what you are or are not going to look at. Like I've had pleasant surprises and I've had terrible surprises, and like regardless of what you wanted to see or thought you were going to see, you have no idea the filter is actually a terrible idea in that regards, and it just piques your curiosity, and then the algo picks it up, and yeah, I completely agree with all that. It's hilarious. It's a hilarious mess. Uh, as for the algorithm not being complicated, yeah, I think people underestimate what's going on there. It's a pretty big, complicated piece of code. You also got to keep in mind when Elon fired like 80% of the staff or whatever number it was, you had people embedded there from organizations like FBI, CIA, that kind of stuff. You had actual plants working at Twitter during that time, and they had months, literally months, while this transition was occurring before Elon bought it, to put whatever they wanted in that code wherever they wanted and hide it in any way they wanted. Like they had a lot of time to mess things up and do very complicated, weird things. And people who know about coding, you have normal coding, right? Like, oh, I made a video game on the computer and I made like blah, 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 this and that. And you have normal coding, but then you have higher level coding. Like you have like military level coding, and then you have like Secret Service level coding. Like there's different levels of coding skills. It's like somebody hacking Game Genie on Nintendo versus somebody hacking like a military class turret versus somebody hacking Russia and stealing all their files. There's different levels of coding. And you had some people with very high coding skills doing very weird things probably to the Twitter code while they were sitting there for months and had a really long time to screw things up. So I would not doubt if there's still some of that weird coding floating around that is very difficult to find.
Yeah, well, thanks first of all for taking notes because you took us through and you brought us back because we derailed a little bit, but I agree with you. And it is hard, right, not to click those random posts or to ignore the For You. People are like, yeah, just don't go to For You. There's nothing good there. No, I'm going to For You, especially after I feel like I've gone through my posts and seen all my friends. Like, I just want to peek. What's the other side doing? And I wrote this down before and I wanted to share it because I have not done this before. Tala mentioned the interest page. I don't know if you guys have seen your interest. I have never done this. And I was just going through it. There's a million things on there. Oh my God, things I've never even been interested in. And there's all these coins and memes, meme tokens. I'm like, what? So I put the link below, but I know everyone's so sus about links. So no worries. Just go to your settings in that little search box, type interests, and it pops up. I mean, I think I'm going to be here for an hour just on clicking all of these things. I don't know. It'd be nice if there was like a deselect all and I could start fresh because it's like anything that I've ever clicked on. This is exactly what we're talking about. That's terrible. It makes sense now why everything is so just messy on my page. 100% recommend you guys do that if you haven't. And let me know. Let me know what you see there. Like, what's the craziest thing on your interest list? Well, maybe not the craziest. I know you're not going to want to share that, but maybe like the third craziest thing on your list. Share that with us. But Benjamin, what are you doing? What's going on your end? Any thoughts?
Yeah, Liz. I checked the in for me. I don't know why this popped up, but Aaron Rodgers is, I never tweet about the guy. I never talk about the guy, and yet he's on my interest, and I'm not even a fan of him. So I don't know why he's there. And then there's like AMC and all that. It's a lot of these things that I don't ever bring up and I don't mention, and yet they're just showing up. So I'm a little bit concerned. I think they have the wrong idea. I think I definitely need to go back and deselect a lot of this because this is not accurate. So, Liz, I don't know how it is on your end, but for me, this is gonna take me another few hours to go through because they're assuming I'm interested in a lot of these things that isn't true. Um, so I have some work to do. But Liz, we do have some new sponsors for the space because I haven't done this in your space at this point, so we definitely have to do this. But friends, are you hungry and are you looking for a snack? It is dinner time on the East Coast, and I know a lot of you are probably meal prepping or making dinner. But if you are running out, and you're looking at fast food, for example, or you're looking at restaurants, we are now officially sponsored by In-N-Out Burgers. We're sponsored by Shake Shack. We're sponsored by Nathan's Hot Dogs. We're sponsored by all of these establishments. We're also brought to you in part by Keenan and Kel, where Kel loves his orange soda. So with that being said, Liz, you definitely know where we're going to go here. So friends, who loves to connect and chill? Free speech on social media, does it exist? We all love to connect and chill. Free speech on social media, does it exist? Is it true? It does, it does, it does, it does, it does, it does. And yeah, Liz, I think we forgot to mention this earlier, but based off of free speech, right? There's a song by John Mayer. It's called "Say What You Need to Say," and I think that ties in perfectly with today's space as well. So, John Mayer, thank you for sponsoring this space. With that being said, I'm going to hand this back to you, Al.
That was perfect. I thought you were going to do the John Mayer bit, but I think we know the song. That was good. That was good. Just give him the shout out. Nothing wrong with that. I wanted to actually share something I know you're not going to like that was in my interests. I found Boston sports in my interest. They're right in between Bobby Shmurda and Bow Wow. Like, I don't even know what. That's the B section that I'm in right now. And I'm just going to stop there because it is a wormhole. But yeah, Zero, what's up?
Yeah, I'm looking at mine now, and holy crap, there's a lot of shit in here. It's like every word I've ever mentioned gets a check mark. Like there's like tons of like crypto crap in here, which I'm not a fan of most crypto. There's like
Yes.
there's so much stuff. There's anything from like astronauts and space, which is cool. Those can stay, but like there's just like it's just a random clusterfuck of like everything that I've ever typed into Google on here. Basically, it's nuts. I highly recommend looking at this. This could actually be the solution to their algorithm problems. They should just literally just push out notifications asking people to check this shit, and the whole thing would probably be cleaned up in a few months. This is hilarious.
Right? It's crazy. It is no joke. Yeah, go ahead, Tala. This is what you started. I'm going to be here all day.
What have I done? Because you know what? I just went through this freaking list like a week or two ago, and now I'm having to go through it again. Okay, so this is the problem. Um, okay, so on Facebook, when you open the comment section on a post, it defaults to freaking most relevant. I 100% despise despise that feature. Default to what I left it at. My preference. We have the same problem with broadcasting on this platform since we don't have Periscope anymore. When you start a broadcast, you have to physically change it to everyone so that everyone can comment in the chat section that they still don't even realize exists, because with an iPhone now you have to tap the screen in order to see the comment section so people don't talk to you because they don't know they can, right? And we asked them, can you please give access to the chat to Android users? And they did that. The Android users have the original user interface that's a good format for chat, but they're going to change it to look just like it looks on iPhone. I say put it back. Put it back the way that it was in Periscope. It was functional. It's terrible now. But you have to change it to say everyone. Otherwise, it's going to default to verified users are the only ones who can use the chat. So, what is the point of default if the platform is dictating to you what that default is? Give me control of it. I'm paying for this.
Yeah, go ahead, Sarah. I know your hand went up, so I figure you have like a direct response to her.
Yeah, I kind of do, but yeah, I kind of don't. I actually agree. I think it's really weird. Like I have Android and PC, and I kind of use them both at the same time. And like they're so different between the interfaces. And then iOS is a whole different ballgame too. Like they're just I'm really weirded out by how they can have like three different functional platforms on three different devices that are completely different. Like it's so weird. And then like don't get me going on live stream. I've been live streaming. Like I've been doing workouts on Saturdays lately or whatever, and I've just been live streaming them because like I'm trying to get other people working out, and I have some people that want to work out doing that, and I'm so out of shape. But anyway, besides that, like the live stream interface is freaking terrible. I hate it so much. It's like a narcissistic's dream come true. Like it's like you just stare at yourself, and then people like if they talk to you, there's like a little bubble that comes up for a second and then it's gone, and you're like, oh, did somebody say something? And then if you're doing something, like I'm working out, I'm doing like push-ups and pull-ups and shit, and like you don't see that, so then you're like looking for it, and there's like nothing you can do on like they should really just combine, in my opinion, this is my opinion, I think they should combine live streaming with spaces like this, and then they should get rid of the live streaming. Just have it so that you can live stream in a space like this if you want to. No, hear me out. Have the spaces like they are now, so you could just have audio spaces, and that is just totally fine. You can do that, but set it so the host can set it up as a video space or not, and then give the host and the co-hosts direct control over giving everybody individual mute buttons. They can just click on your picture and mute you, or click on your picture to unmute you when you're up as a speaker, and do the same thing for video display. And then you could live stream a video display as a host, and people could come into the room and join you, or you could just keep it an audio space and there would be no issues, right? But just combine the two, and then so much simpler, so much more effective, and I think more people would use it.
Now, I haven't done live streaming or videos and Periscope, but I will hand it to Tala. I feel like that is her thing.
Yeah, I have been doing this since 2016. I am an OG Periscope broadcaster. That is the only reason that I am even active on this platform. I had a Twitter account and I wasn't using it much. So Periscope is responsible for me even having this conversation with you right now. So there's very few of us left who are active live stream broadcasters from Periscope. And probably the two people who are most invested in it is me and Gilo. So I'll tell you why that's a bad idea. To begin with, the video in Spaces is terrible. It's wretched. It is responsible for most of the bugs that we are dealing with right now. And the more they tweak it, the worse it gets. Ooh, let's give the co-host video too. You know what the next thing is they're going to do? You can turn on the camera for every speaker. That's their aim. How much more unstable does it have to get before they back off and go, we need to fix this, instead of just making it worse? Because what they're doing is they're cramming down our throats all the new stuff they want to launch instead of actually repairing things. They had access to someone who could have fixed the live stream broadcasting. I know him personally. He's a very dear friend of mine. And he kept telling Elon after he took over, I'll come back. I'll come back. You just got to hire me back. And he's the one person who was on staff at Periscope who literally got rid of the bots that were plaguing our broadcasts for a year and a half solid. He's the only person who ever did it. And I used to sit up late at night while he was broadcasting and help him with all of the things that he was testing. Unfortunately, right now, he is very ill and he is fighting for his life. So right now he's not available, but they had the golden opportunity to get the guy back in there who knew what he was doing. And I hope that someday everything works out to where he can go back and help them fix this. But you cannot combine the two. They are very different. And you understand, of course, we are on Periscope right now. We are on the skeleton of what's left of Periscope. That's what they built Spaces on, was that code. So unfortunately, they can't just flip a switch and bring it back. They promised us that in the integration of moving broadcasters over to Twitter and shutting down Periscope, that it would work, that it would be the same. And they failed on that. They didn't care. They stopped maintaining it before they even shut Periscope down, just like they did with Vine. Okay. And with them, it always seems like it's almost like competition because it was a separate set of departments that was running it. So now that we're here, they let it go until one day Elon went, "What's this?" And he went live and he went, "Ew." And he was laughing because he was embarrassed. And he was like, "Can we fix this?" And we were in chat screaming, "Yes, please, please." So he improved the quality of the video. Somebody did something, but then they kind of dropped the ball again. So the answer is not to shut down the live streaming, because there's going to be a mass exodus of more people leaving the platform because that's the only reason they're here. And I'm not too sure how I would feel about remaining if I lost access to that here myself. So Spaces is not the same. I've seen Dr. Heath doing a video space riding his bike. It's awful. I mean, it's like, I don't see that as a knock against his broadcast. It's not him. It's the video quality is not there. The interface is not there to do the same thing that we do with live streaming. I so much wish that you guys could have experienced what we did as a community. It was so very different. In reality, to bring back what we had in the same quality, it still needs to be a separate app. But it is doable here. The problem is there's no one on staff who is invested in it and uses the live streaming the way that we did, and so they don't understand what's needed. My friend that was on staff, he understood it because he got on here and broadcasted like we did. So there's the conundrum. But I would not want to see it shut down, and there's really no way to combine it. Personally, I was not a fan of introducing video into Spaces at all. It's an audio format, and I feel like it should have stayed that. Most people who try to use video in Spaces, they seem extremely uncomfortable, like they don't know what to do with themselves. So they don't have the experience on camera like I have. I've been doing this for a long time. Yeah. So no, I don't want to see that combined. I think it's a bad idea. I think it'll crash everything.
Yeah, I think Ben has to hop off, so I'll let him go ahead and take the mic, and then we'll get back into the conversation because I have a few questions for you guys on that.
Yeah, I appreciate Liz. Thanks for allowing me to co-host. Thanks for everyone being here and supporting L Space and Connect and Chill. This is a great conversation. This is definitely worth going back and listening to after. Um, and I appreciate you all for being here. I appreciate all your love and support. And again, thanks L for hosting this space. And I will catch you all soon. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for dealing with my time change. It's always awesome having you here. But Zero, go ahead. I will let you respond because I feel like it was A and B conversation first, and then I'll kind of ask you guys some questions.
Yeah, don't mistake that I want them to like just delete the live stream setting and that kind of stuff and just go full in on video spaces. I totally get there's like a lot of glitchy crap going on this platform right now. Like even the other day when I was in a space, I was like going up to be a speaker and like it was glitching out and it wouldn't let me go up to be a speaker. And then when I clicked on the link in the top, like where the title, sorry, where the title and that was, it like gave me some weird error message. And then sometimes you got like people up that are speaking and their mic garbles and cuts them and then they got to drop them down and bring, like there's so many glitchy crap going on. I completely 1,000% agree with you on that. It's because they're understaffed, and from the sounds of it, when Mark was talking the other day, they're just basically trying to put band-aids on really important things right now, and they're trying to push like major things that they can do right now, and everything else just kind of gets shoved to the side on a big pile of paper on the desk until at some point they can look at one of them. Like it's just too much to do and not enough people doing it, in my opinion. But they're doing pretty good for the size of their team. But anyway, I have a tendency to look at long game potential. Like as an example, like the whole Optimus robot thing and that, I've been talking about that, like taking over the workplace market and being like free labor and changing like the monetary system and all that for like probably almost a year now. Like I was writing about that before, like since basically they first showed Optimus, and just now people are starting to talk about it. So with regards to the video spaces, I'm probably like a couple years ahead of where people are going with this. But I honestly feel that when they get their shit sorted out and when they've actually fixed all the glitches and the bugs and that kind of stuff, I honestly feel like it could be a very good live stream experience through spaces like this. Like I honestly think when it works properly and when you have it across all three platforms, like iOS, Android, and PC, and it's all the same. Like you don't have certain buttons you can only use on certain platforms and certain settings you can only get to through certain ways by switching between. Like it's really weird right now. It's really weird right now. I think a good start for them would be to just make them all the same and then edit the same thing on every single platform. That'd be a great way for them to go forward with this. But I really think they're short staffed and they're probably working their asses off. So I'm not going to do too much on that. But yeah, I agree with almost everything you said, like completely. But I do think the future of live streaming will probably be in spaces, and I think the interface will be improved significantly. It's just a matter of, is it going to be like a few months or a few years or a century? It's just, yeah, it's just a timing thing, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree just from, outside perspective. Like I said, I've never used Periscope, but video streams are so terrible. Like if I see someone is doing, I'm sorry, like video spaces, if I see someone's doing one, I usually end up leaving because it's just so janky and it's weird, it's laggy. I've thought of doing them too, like let's go for a walk into a video space, but it's just so broken. And like you're saying, spaces in general, it's such a different experience on my Windows computer and to my MacBook Pro, to my Apple phone, to my Droid. Like it's so different. It just needs to be the same thing and work, but it doesn't. I wish on PCs you could even have a good space. Most of the time they're broken, which is really frustrating. So getting into Periscope a little, I was looking it up because, like I said, I've never used it. But since you have, would you say it was kind of like TikTok live streaming, where people can just heart it and send you a bunch of hearts and easily comment without having to kind of like leave the video now?
It was very different, and I don't have access to going live on TikTok yet because I'm sub 1,000 followers. I need 1,000 followers. I could really use that platform if they would just give me access to that. But I gotta get up to 1,000. I mean, I already have access to it on YouTube. That was easy. I got in on that when they only required 100. Then they amped it up to 1,000 or something, and now they've dropped it to 50, and they're all over the place. But YouTube is not my focus right now. That's next. But I'm building here now. This is the platform at the moment. The last 2 years, last year and this year. Um, so one of the major differences is the fact that we had a very cohesive community, and that was rooted in the discoverability. So, with it being tied to, because it was owned by Twitter, um, you had the ability to network with people here, but with that separate app, you had the choice of, I'm going to turn on notifications for Periscope because I want to hear if somebody I'm following goes live today. So you'd hear that little whistle and snap and, ooh, J-Lo is on, and jump in there. And everybody who's following is like, yay, and we were talking and having a conversation with each other in chat, and he would be out there in the ocean swimming and getting hammered by the waves. And, we were able to visit Hawaii without having to go there and spend that money. But there were certain features that we don't have here. The map was key. The map was everything. That's how I met Gilo. I opened it up one day and went, there's a bunch of people in Hawaii broadcasting. Huh. Well, let's go check this out. Tap. And that was it. After that, history. I mean, our running joke, and it's not really a joke, I mean, but, we kid around about, we're best friends. I'm in live streaming, he said, I'm his best friend. And I was like, yeah, we really have become besties on here. So that map made a lot of connections for people. We don't have the access to that here. If I go live now on this platform, nobody comes into my broadcast. They don't know I'm here. If if they happen to see the notification on the feed, cool. And if they have the time, they can jump in. But they might not, they might glance and go, oh, let me come back to it. It disappears. it was not set up that way in Periscope. I could open it up and go, everybody that I know who's on is right here on my feed, and I can choose. There's Louise Poppy in New Zealand. There's Gilo in Hawaii. There's Airbro who's in Hawaii. There's Chocolate Johnny in Australia. See, these people are all my good friends now. So I can rattle off their names like that. But it's because I got to see them every single day. And we would do what we called pass the cast. So we would set up specific time frames. You know, it'd be Gilo would start, he'd be on for an hour. Tala's up next, she'll be on for an hour. Chocolate Johnny only has half an hour, he'll be on for half an hour. We would schedule that in advance, and what would happen is everybody who came into the first broadcast, they would wait until, say, I'm going live next, and somebody would be watching. Hey, let me know when Tala is live. Okay, everybody jump over to her broadcast now. That's how we built the community. We supported each other. Try to do that on this platform. We tried. We have tried. It doesn't work nearly as well. So that's why we're so close. And in fact, because we had that kind of interaction and we got to know each other so well, we've seen each other through births, deaths, marriages of people who met in the app who are still together. We would have Periscope meets. And the company itself actually sponsored some of those. They would have swag. They would have representatives come out. So they would give us stuff, and we would get together and have meals, and spend a few. We did Summit Live together. That was several days, going to see all of the vendors and people talking about what they do in live streaming. I mean, it was a very active face-to-face community, as well as being online together. So I've met Gilo. I've met Chocolate Johnny a couple of times. He came from Australia, came here to California. I traveled to Arizona to meet people. I traveled to Nevada to meet people. I met Blaine from Utah. Well, how many people in Twitter can say they've done that? I have such a large list of people that I got to know in person that I'm actually making a list because I'm curious how many people. I kind of lost track at 30. Okay. I don't know very many people who can say they've met 30 of their Twitter friends. So that was the major difference, is actually having a legit community with real friendships. And we are still friends today.
That sounds incredible. Like, I'm actually jealous that I missed this whole Periscope thing. Wow, what a comparison. So no wonder you're mad, because I'm mad about spaces, but you're big mad because you had a good thing going, and this really seems like it fails in comparison. But go
Yes.
ahead, Zero. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that sounds actually phenomenal. They're actually looking for ideas to like get like spaces out there and live streams out there and that. I'm looking for his handle right now. I can't seem to find it. It's buried somewhere here. For Mark there or whatever in the space we were talking with Diligent the other day, and they're looking for ideas. Like he like every time he has one of those spaces, they have one like every month apparently, and he literally leaves with like probably about 4 pages or a full page of notes.
Yeah, are you looking for him? I'm not sure what happened there.
I was going to say, is it me? I lost his audio.
I thought it was me too. I'm like, oh no, it's rugging.
Dude, can you hear me now?
Oh, there we
Okay,
go.
there we go. I had that phone under the desk a little bit. It's probably some electrical interference or something. Yeah, I was scrolling, I was looking for his handle or whatever. But can you possibly write something up, Tala, explaining what that was in detail so that they can visualize it, and maybe they'll implement something like that, because they might not have anybody from the old staff, like you said, that worked on Periscope. But that actually sounds phenomenal.
Yeah. The thing is, there are some people there who have an idea. And I mean, we have had conversations with Nate and with Melissa. And I mean, they know what we want, but they want to take it a different direction. One thing I will recommend is that if you do live stream broadcasting and you're interested in some support from those of us who have that history, and you want some tips on it and some tutorials, Glo started. It's called A Live Stream Community X. I'm trying to figure out how to pull the link from my phone. It's a little. They changed something a while back, and it's hard for me to access it on my phone. But I'm gonna grab the link directly to the community and post it in the pill for you. But if you join, there's a lot of people who are willing to support and help people learn.
I'm going to be honest. I'm just doing it to get back in shape because I'm lazy and fat, and literally, literally, I wasn't exercising enough. And then I tried doing something like running on the treadmill one day. And I was like, "Holy crap, I'm out of shape!" Wow, because I used to be able to do that no problem. So, and then watching Kettlebell Down with his like weights and all that shit, and then Travis Radford working out, and I'm like, "Son of, I should really do something." So, and now it's like the weekly live stream holds me accountable where I have to show up and actually work out because people are expecting me to. So I'm almost using it as like a personal I have to now because I committed to it, so now I'm screwed. So because I hate working out, that's
Well,
literally
my thing is fitness, so I can still help you.
yeah. I'm not
What I
really
did was
taking it too seriously.
I grabbed the link to a post that I put up that is tips for broadcasting. So I'm going to post that in the pill. I'm actually a moderator in the community, and in fact, if we get to 200 members, they're doing a giveaway, and we're at 183. So if people are at all interested in broadcasting, you can join.
Yeah, I think you should really, 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 really send Mark a really well articulated layout of exactly what you think would be great. And I think what I've found with a lot of this stuff with Twitter and X and that, and even with SpaceX and Tesla, the hardest thing to do is to get your idea to translate to the people in charge. Once your idea gets passed around enough and somebody can translate it to the people in charge, usually something gets implemented. Like I've seen this with Falcon 9 landing legs. I've seen this with like the ablative coating under the heat tiles. I've seen this with a lot of different things and different ideas where they're kind of stuck in an idea and they do this for so long and they'll bash their head against the wall trying to figure out a better system. And then some nobody on the bottom of the totem pole somewhere is like screaming, "Hey, how about try this? How about try this?" And until that idea actually reaches somebody high up who actually understands it, because that's the other big issue. A lot of times somebody has a great idea and it comes across like Greek, and the person in charge can't really wrap their brain around what they're trying to articulate, and then because of that, it won't get implemented. So my advice, your idea, like what you had with Periscope, with like I'm guessing this was like just like a map layout, and it would have like little pins on it or something that would show who was live and where they were, and like it was like just a big map or whatever like that. That wouldn't be too hard for them to implement on X, in my opinion. Like they would have to have a different tab for it. Like they're already working on making separate tabs for media and that. Why not make a separate Spaces tab? Have just
Yeah.
a tab that you
And
could
you
tap.
know what? There's another platform that was created by a former Periscope broadcaster, and he has a map. It's very, very similar to how Periscope was. We've kind of kidded him, hey, you could sell this to Elon. But I mean, I know what his fear is because of Twitter's history of killing the competition. He'll probably never let go of it. He could sell it for 1 million, but he probably won't. So he's proven that it can be done by somebody who's I don't say this to be a knock on the guy, so be careful how I say this, but essentially a nobody in the tech world because he's the little guy. Nobody knows who he is. You know what I mean? So it's a very small user base, and he doesn't have the resources that the staff of X has, and yet he recreated it. Yeah.
I'm going to 100% encourage you to do a write up and try and make it so that it fits with the way the current platform is designed. Like the map idea to me sounds phenomenal. I would actually suggest that they make a tab for spaces and live stream that literally just shows a map with pins on it. Everybody that's live at the same time, because the scrolling thing is kind of annoying too. Like you scroll through spaces, you got to read what they're about. It would be cool if you could see where the host was hosting from, even if it's like, and then they might have an issue with like doxing people. So even just make it like country based, like the entire country of India lights up and there's like a list of like 5 people there, and the entire country of Canada lights up and there's a list of like 5 people there or something. Like just try and articulate it in a way that they can visualize it. Even maybe make some like screenshots or something, or some scribbles on paper or something like that, or something so you can get the idea across. Because I think this is a great idea, and from what
It'll
I've
be easy because Gilo has already done live stream broadcasts on this exact topic and demonstrated it. Yeah.
this is one of the problems they're trying to solve right now. Though, from hearing Mark talk the other day, every time he talks about like they talked about visibility of like street live streams and visibility of spaces, and that he's like, oh well, we're kind of working on that. We've tried a few things, you know. He's like you can tell he's like kind of in his head with things they've tried and things they can and can't do and things they've been messing around with, and they see it as one of the bigger issues that needs solving. And honestly, it is one of the bigger issues that needs solving because once you have that kind of a user base on the platform, you can now develop revenue systems around it and then X takes a little piece of the pie. So that solves their revenue system as well. Like this is actually, do it. I'm telling you, write something up. If you want, send a copy to me and I'll send it too. So like just
That's
do.
I mean, I was monetized. We had a monetary. We had that. I raised $2,000 for a project at one point, and there were people who were getting regular payout. I got a couple of payouts, from the rest of it. We had Super Hearts was one of the programs. So like if you tap the screen and there were regular little hearts, they didn't do anything for you except street cred, as we jokingly called it. But there was a Super Hearts program where the person could purchase specific ones, send it to the broadcaster, and they would get a payout from that. So yeah, we had multiple methods of monetizing in there. It existed already. But I actually am not familiar with who you're talking about. So if you send me the name, at least I can, I can look for who it is, and maybe Gilo and I can brainstorm and just pull up. He's already got, like I said, he's got broadcasts and posts about this. Yeah, I appreciate the info.
Yeah. Write something up, send it to me, send it to whoever else you want. We'll fine tune it. We'll fix it up. We'll do some cool stuff with it, and then I'll try and dig this guy's his ad handle out because it's somewhere on here. I think Jonathan probably mentioned it in the chat or something. I'll probably get it from there. But I'm following him too, so worst case I'll just scroll the list and find him. But yeah, no, get something written up, and I'll look at it, and you look at it, and get some other people to look at it, and we'll fine tune it. And then when it's good, we'll send it to Mark. We'll send it, we'll post it on the platform in multiple places. We'll tag Elon. We'll send it right at Elon. We'll send it to a few other people that we know in SpaceX, Tesla, X. Like we'll just spread it everywhere, so that people can say whether they think it's a good idea or not. And then somebody somewhere with eyeballs with some power will look at it, and they'll either go with it or they won't. But I think it sounds like a brilliant idea. I think a lot of other people are going to think it's a brilliant idea, and I think it solves a lot of their problems. So I'm very serious about this. I think this is one of the big things that we should network on and get fixed.
Totally appreciated. Thank you.
All right, Zero, you put up the call to action. I'm on board too. I'm in. So if you message me anything you want me to send, I'll be another person. One more call to action. I shared up top Tala's post from that group. She said they're almost at 200. I feel like there's enough of us here. You can just join. You're in so many X communities anyway. It's really not a big deal. Just join one more. And the tips are cool, right? Learn something new. So I joined already. So we're one step closer. We can keep that going. I'm still blown away by how cool Periscope sounded. Like, even some of those features for spaces, like you said, there was a whistle sound. It would be so nice if my friends at a pop-up space that I would get a notification instead of having to set a reminder. Sometimes it doesn't work, or you just, you miss the post if they don't send it to you. It would just be nice to have that on there. And on PC, you also have such a struggle to find spaces. Sometimes it shows it on the side, or I use a third-party website that'll show me the latest Twitter spaces, and it's really messy. Yeah, go ahead, Zero. Like kind of, free mic it and come in.
I might be rugging, I'm not sure, but yeah, no, that's what you notice a little pop-up and all that stuff on the bottom when somebody has a live space or space, like that little pop-up and stuff, that's them trying to solve the solution. But even with that, they're worried people are going to get pop-up fatigue, and then after a while people just close it and ignore it, and like the map, do it, write it up. I'm so excited about that.
That's exactly what they did, because we got in Nate's face, we got in Alyssa's face, and we kept saying we don't have discoverability. This needs to be fixed. And then one day I get this pop-up asking me if I want to join something. I'm like, what the heck is on my screen? It's in my way. I have to dismiss it. They did it wrong trying to respond to the request. It's like they hear half of it and then they implement it poorly, and it's like I'm not hating on them. I know that on some level they're trying. But I mean, if you're going to listen to our suggestions, you have to listen to the entire suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Zero.
That's why I'm really encouraging you to do a full detailed write-up, because if it's a full detailed write-up and the plan's all laid out and you cover all the details, where do we put it? Oh, we put it in a different tab for spaces and live streams, and how do we display it? Oh, you lay a map of the world and you just put little pins on the map and people can mouse over them or thumb over them on the phone or something like that, or click on the different countries. Have it very detailed, so there's no way we can be missing any details. And if you give them the floor plan and it's 100% laid out and somebody up top likes it, trust me, shit rolls downhill. As soon as somebody up top likes it, that will be implemented.
Okay, Zero is so bullish on this plan. He's writing out the letter himself. He's got all the
I am. I'm
details.
going to proofread the crap out of this and I'll send it to Elon myself.
It's good. It's good. I'm glad because you know what? I mean, for a long time, it's just basically been me and Gilo hammering on this issue, trying to push it. And here's what happened was they kind of like dangled the carrot and said, okay, we're going to work on this. And there was this flood of broadcasters who haven't been active on the platform who came back. And what they came back to was, wow, it was like disappointment central. So a bunch of them disappeared again, you know? So we can't keep like pulling people back and forth. They either need to follow through or just say we're not going to do that. And I get so aggravated every time Elon says, should I bring Vine back? And I'm like, who gives a crap about Vine? You had a good thing here with the broadcasting. Fix that. Just pick one direction and truly, truly fix it instead of playing around and going in circles. And we brought this up and now we're going to uninstall it and now we're going to bring it back and then we're going to uninstall it and let's add to it even though it's not working. Let's look, my running joke about Twitter and Periscope both still stands today. Hey, they fixed one thing. Which two or three did they break in the wake of that? What did they break now? And I hate having to say that because obviously I like the platform or I wouldn't be here, but it's the truth. Every time they fix one thing, two or three other things collapse. So the bottom line is this. I'm going to quote Gilo. He said, we are here because we want this platform to succeed. I wouldn't be paying $8 a month and hanging out here and giving some of my best content away free on this platform if I didn't believe in its ability to be successful. So we are trying to offer them some tips on how to make that actually happen. Yeah.
Right, that is so true. Because you could have just given up and moved on to something else, and you're trying. So we need to do this together. We'll work it out. Created, you're back. What's up? How's your Saturday? Are you home? Are you still at Costco, the mall? I don't know where you were.
Yeah, so now I was at the mall. Now I'm over here at Kohl's, and then I'm gonna go to Costco. Then I'm gonna go home. I got a lot of little errands I gotta run. But so this is the problem that I've noticed with Elon, right? And I've seen some of his staff in different departments, like SpaceX and things of that nature. They mention this, right? So for example, Elon has a very hard time being singular focused on just one thing. He tries to put his hand in everything and just try to do all this different stuff, man, and tries to you have too many things that you're dabbling with at one time. On top of the fact that you did the smartest move anybody can ever do when you buy a company, you just fire mostly everybody, and then get it like a skeleton crew, right? That might work in regular business or maybe regular companies, but when you're dealing with a social platform and a digital platform, that never really works. So what SpaceX has even done is when he comes to SpaceX because they know he likes to dabble and get his hands on everything. They have like 3 or 4 dedicated people from SpaceX staff members that pretty much kind of guide him around and kind of keep him occupied so he doesn't put his hands on stuff because when he starts dabbling in things and he starts messing with things, he's he starts to screw shit up. Like, I get it, he's the face, he does a lot of things, he has money, but the people that are really doing the hard work and and they're really good people, these people that are doing the actual work, sometimes, you ever had that manager that kind of just micromanages everything, always got to touch stuff, and you have things all organized, and then they come in and they take your folder and they kind of throw all the papers on the ground or whatever. It just messes you up. And then next thing you know, instead of like, for example, I love this guy at work. He's one of the OGs on my team at work, right? And I had to take over this program and oversee this program. So while I'm doing this program, um, people are so used to going to him that they don't come to me, and I'm the one that's over this program to help them with this certain activity or a certain project that's going on. So he'll be like, yeah, he'll help them. He'll forget to tell me, and I have a tracker system that I use, and it just, as much as he's trying to help me, it really doesn't help. It just kind of sets me back even further, and I gotta go double over his work again, and then do what I was doing, get back on track. So there's certain things like that that Elon just need just stop. Just somebody needs to be that they need to pay somebody $1 million, $2 million or whatever, how much it's gonna take to just stop. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that Richard Pryor movie The Toy. Like his whole job was just to entertain his kid, so this kid could just be entertained and just out the way of his father's business. And Richard Pryor was getting paid lucrative amount of money. I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, the movie's a classic. But Richard Pryor was getting paid tons and tons of money just to preoccupy this kid and get in his kid's way, so he would just leave his father alone for the most part, while his father had him for the summertime. And they just need to pay somebody. I don't know if another example like Farnsworth Bentley for Diddy. I know Diddy's kind of like an R. Kelly example right now, but Farnsworth Bentley, he got paid good money just to handle a lot of crap, so that Diddy wasn't all meddling into that stuff. And then Farnsworth Bentley goes away, and the next thing you know, Diddy got all kind of shit popping off. So they just need somebody to kind of preoccupy that man. He just get out of the way. We get it. We understand that he's socially awkward and all that other stuff. He's kind of weird. He's kind of, he's kind of kooky and stuff. With a lot of other things. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm anti Elon Musk. I like the platform, but I'm just anti Elon Musk. I just say what it is. And if anybody know me, like if I don't really like something, if like I'm allergic to disinformation. I'm allergic to people doing a lot of this crazy shit on this platform. Sometimes I just have moments where I just break out of hives because there's so much bullshit going on. But if they would just, preoccupy Elon for a little bit so they could just focus on getting this platform where we all know it has the potential to be. Because yes, I had Twitter since Twitter first came out and never used it until Elon took it over. So there are some things that became more user friendly and more things to really understand. Because I didn't understand the whole retweet crap. That was all crap. The birdie and all that other stuff. It was just a bunch of people just recycling information and stuff, and I didn't really get it. I didn't really care for it. But now it's a lot more user friendly. It's a lot more community based, but there are still some things he just needs to get out the way of, so people can focus on one thing at a time and building this thing brick by brick. I honestly believe, and I'll land my plane on this, even though I didn't come from Clubhouse. I'll land my plane anyway, the plane that I don't have. Um, so Elon Musk, in my honest belief, would have been better just starting his own company and starting and doing have his own coding team and all that stuff from. And then if he wants out Twitter, because bought it out and just have his own company running from scratch instead of hitting to this web coding and trying to pick out the and change certain stuff. And my plane has landed. Man, this airline. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, creative. I'm glad you came back. It took much longer than I expected for you to say your stance on Musk. In case anyone thought the opposite, you're probably not following creative then. But yeah, it took almost 2 hours. What the heck? But no, that
Man,
was
I'm
good. I totally
multitasking.
agree.
Men don't do good multitasking. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not a real good multitasker. So it is what it is. Hey, charge it to my head and not to my heart. All right.
No problem. It's all good. You've been popping in and out. I appreciate you for taking us on your shopping journey. Kohl's up next, guys. In case there's any returns that you need, you can return Amazon items at Kohl's. So give it to Creative. He'll take care of it for you. But go ahead, Zero. I think your hand was up.
Sorry, creative man. I'm gonna disagree with you so hard on this. You got to look at Elon's companies and do some math on that, because think about it this way. He has, okay, three main companies. I'll go with SpaceX, I'll go with Tesla, and I'll go with X. Which company has the fastest iteration, the fastest progress, and the fastest like overall changeover and progress and whatever? Like which company does the best? Probably SpaceX, right? SpaceX is iterating things that like NASA hasn't been able to do in like 100 years. SpaceX is the fastest moving, the most fastest advancing. They've got the best iterations, right? SpaceX is completely run by Elon. It is a private company. There are no investors. There's no sub commander. Like SpaceX is Elon's completely, 100%, right? Tesla's the next fastest one, right? Tesla has to deal with shareholders, a bunch of whiny shareholders that are like, oh, this is gonna hurt stock prices. Oh, don't do this. Elon owns the car company. Blah blah blah. It's all these people, right? That's why Tesla's slowed down. Now you go over to X. Elon's not even technically running X. He has Linda in charge of X because people voted that he should not be the CEO of X, right? And he honored that, so I'll give him credit on that. But That is actually why the progress on X is so slow, in my opinion, because Elon is not actually at the wheel. Elon is on the boat, but he's not driving the ship. He is very influential on the ship, but he's not actually the one steering it. And I think that is why X is developing so slowly. I'm pretty sure if Elon was driving the ship, it would be faster. Now, in regards to Elon not being able to multitask, I've worked with people like the guys you've talked about before, the guys who are good at everything but literally useless on the job site. I used to work for a guy in Safeways like that way, way, way back in the day, and the guy was like king shit on Turd Isle, best of everything, best at everything, did everything. The guy literally did nothing. He didn't do anything. He ran his mouth. That's all he did. Everybody else is doing all the work. So I totally get the kind of guy you're talking about. And as soon as he gets his fingers in there, he messes up your system, and then it takes you twice as long to do your job because he helped you. Yeah, I've worked with people like that. Trust me. I really, really, really do not think that's Elon's style. When you see Elon talking about stuff in his companies, like how the motors in a Tesla vehicle work, or how they have to change this on the rocket and do that, and for reentry, the tiles have to be placed this way, and this is probably going to fail because of this. When you hear him talking about his stuff, like how the engines in that work, how the vehicles work, he knows his stuff. He's very smart. When he was a kid, he started with programming. That's not really something you lose unless you just haven't touched it in a while and all the coding's changed. Elon knows his stuff when it comes to coding. He's very smart. The reason he's so good at multitasking, it may be because of the Asperger's or autism or whatever he's got there, but if you watch when he talks about something, if it's something serious that he has to think about, he goes into like a mind castle, I call it, where he'll kind of roll into the back of his head and he'll think about it for a few seconds. What he's doing is he's visualizing this stuff in his head, and he's basically going into like a mental library filing cabinet. He's pulling things out. I totally get this because I do this. I can weld, I can do carpentry, I drive a school bus, I've worked in grocery stores, I fix my own car, I could take a tree, turn it into boards, build a little house or a dog house or something out of it. Like I've got a lot of random skills, and some people are just built like that. And yeah, I'm just disagreeing with you, hard creative. I think you need to do a lot more research into who Elon actually is. He's one of the few people I respect because of all of this stuff. And yeah, it's pretty impressive. I think he's a great multitasker.
Ooh, opposite opinions there. I don't know if Creative wants to take the mic back and say what his thoughts are.
I wish I had a moment. I would, but I'm over here. Like I said, I'm taking you guys, making my way downtown. But, I'm kind of. And I respect your opinion. I don't get mad at people having opposing day where people are able to articulate certain things. As time to really get into it, we're talking about.
All good. I figured. That's fine. There'll be more conversations. We all have plenty of spaces that we run. So go ahead, Tala.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to pile on creative, but he knows that I'm gonna I'm gonna say it how I see it. Yeah, actually Zero hit some very important points. And the one thing that I was gonna bring up is if Elon didn't get involved at all, we would not have any live streaming quality on this platform at all right now. That was him that went, "What is this?" Like I said earlier, and hit the go live button. And we all just basically dropped everything we were doing and went, "Did Elon Musk just go live?" And we dived into the broadcast. I mean, Gilo was there before me, I think. I was like, what is going on? And this is what I said earlier. He was laughing because he was embarrassed at the quality. This is why there was a trending hashtag 8-bit Elon. It started that day. He was laughing at the quality of it, going, "This is tragic. I own this." And all he kept saying to his developers in the background was, "Can we fix this?" So, yeah, he was actually responsible for putting that into motion. And we have tried, talking directly to him because he does own the platform, but he's not involved in any of that. Like, if you can get his attention so that he lights a fire under people, then that's useful. But he's not one of the developers. He's the owner. He's also very educated, very technically. Yeah, he's light years beyond what I could ever hope to be. So yeah, I mean, Zero's right about that. He's got quite a bit of knowledge, but he's not doing the hands-on. I mean, he's too busy with other stuff. He's got people that are hired to do that job. I've mentioned Nate McGrady. I've mentioned Melissa. Gosh, I can't think of Marinzello, I think is her last name. You know, and that's no secret. Their bio says they work for X. They're out there on the platform. I always encourage people to have conversations with these people, same as Gilo does, but just be respectful. We're not trying to, go attack them and put them down because these are the people who are actually doing the work. We're just trying to give them some guidance and suggestions and some wisdom from those of us who have been doing this for so long. So I totally respect that they're doing the job. It's just they're doing a job that they don't fully understand from the end user's perspective as a broadcaster. Elon wouldn't either because he wasn't part of our community, but he does have a vested interest in the idea of if this thing is integrated and it's here and people want to use it, maybe we should make it actually usable. So that's what I'm going to credit him for, is looking at it and going, huh, we're not getting rid of that. It's just sitting here. Why don't we make it usable? And that's what we were asking for years. Twitter didn't care. The previous ownership, they didn't care about us. They abandoned us. All of the broadcasters went to Haps after they shut down Periscope. And then Haps screwed us over and abandoned us. So we have all scattered. Some use Instagram, some use Twitch. I can't figure out how to use Twitch. Some are on the platform that I mentioned that was started by a former user. I don't know why I can't think of the name. I've got an account, but I haven't been on there in a while. Some use Facebook. I hate broadcasting on Facebook. I don't like it. And some are trying to use it here, but we didn't broadcast for I want to say a year or two, really, because there was no quality. So him getting involved is what gave us at least a good video quality. They just need to finish what they started. That's really it.
Yeah, go ahead, Zora. You could just respond. No biggie, just a few of us.
Yeah, I usually just do the hands of others. People talk over each other, and it gets kind of chaotic. That's actually why I think they should have the mute buttons for the hosts and the co-hosts. In that they should have everybody has a mute button. It would solve a lot of problems, and then the users could visually see the mute button whether they're muted or not. That'd be great.
Now you want to add something else after everything we're talking about?
Sorry. Anyway, I was just thinking of some good points, and it actually got me thinking. One of the best ways to improve things on this platform is probably just to somehow coax Elon into using them, right? Like as soon as he uses it, if it's good, then he'll leave it alone. And if it's annoying and bad and he sees problems that are glitchy, I'm pretty sure they'll get fixed like that.
Yeah, because he'll be like, I'm just going to throw money at this. You fix this. Here's your paycheck. I mean, he's got the power to do that.
Right, that makes sense. Because, I mean, he's working on a million things, like you guys said. I'm sure he's not just thinking about spaces all day like a lot of us are. But I didn't know where 8-bit Elon came
And
from.
he's definitely not thinking about live stream broadcasting all day. We are I'm going to pull an old phrase. We're the redheaded stepchild at this point.
Yeah, I think so. And then you brought up Vine, and I was like, oh my God, not Vine. Forgot
I
about that
don't
one
know why
too.
he is so obsessed with asking people, should I bring back Vine? I am not a big fan of really short form content with video because it's not what I do. It's not what I'm good at. So I get that some people like that, but I'm not in favor of encouraging the short attention span. I'm in favor of encouraging people to expand their capabilities again.
I am with you. That is the last thing we need. I think I'm pretty anti TikTok. I'll just put it out there for that reason of people just like mindlessly scrolling these little videos and they'll be there for hours. No, no, that is not what we need. That is not what the human race needs. Our brains don't need that. Just these quick dopamine hits and we get nowhere. But what's up, Jane? So good to see you, girl.
Hey, Al, what's happening? Nice to see you. Tala, Creative, Zero, Intricate, Vlad, my Vladimir. I love that name. Oh, I scared him away. I didn't mean to do that. Um, I'm sure he probably just glitched out. Anyway, as long as you're talking about glitches and things like that, and then it goes with free speech too. I don't know if this was merely a coincidence or not, but as some of you know, I had some trouble with my account last weekend, and I couldn't get it back for quite a few days. I did finally get it back. Well, now today I was posting it was a political post, and I was just I wasn't posting nasty, mean things. I was being very respectful in my wording and everything like that. And in the middle of my post, my account just dropped, and it put me into my um, alt account, and it was like, what? So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait a while. I'll go back on, try to sign on, and I couldn't get signed on onto my verified account that I'm on right now. I, was that, and then probably about a half hour later, um, it worked again. But the trick was, I instead of panicking and trying to sign in a million times, I just kind of gave it some time, and then I actually deleted the app and then put the app back on again, and did that. So that, and then finally I got it to work. But talk about coincidental, huh? That was kind of strange. I don't know. I might just be making something out of nothing, and it just kind of happened at the same time I was posting on something that probably isn't popular with the powers that be in the United States. I don't know. I could be spending too much time in conspiracy theory rooms. One of my entertainment pleasures. I do like hearing, hey, they're different points of views, and sometimes they're correct. So what the heck? I enjoy the people, and it's fun for me. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm going to listen for a while. I don't know how long you guys been at it, but Creative, I saw his post and I came in, and so I will pass. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have you here. And it's funny you bring up those conspiracy spaces. I hop in there too sometimes, like especially the ones on aliens. I can't resist. I met this guy in one, and he had all this equipment. Like this was his thing. He was very serious, and he was teaching us like how to do the alien hunting and like showing us clips. Like he was playing them into space, and I can't resist. It's like random videos on YouTube. You know, sometimes you go down that rabbit hole, and there you go. There's your Saturday night. I already have my Saturday rabbit hole planned out, thanks to Tala. So I'm going to share with you, Jane, because maybe you already knew this. I might be late to the game, but I'm not letting it go. There are interests on X, if you go to your settings, that they have set up for you. And I have about a million of them because I've never gone through this list. And it's pretty much anything you've ever clicked on, anything you've ever seen. And that also is part of, I guess why you see what you see and your algo. So Tala was telling us about it earlier, and a lot of us were shocked to see what X thought we were interested in, and we shared some of those. So if you haven't already checked it out, I'd love for you to check it out and let us know some of your crazy interests according to X.
Okay, so where do I
Go
find
ahead.
those?
Well, she posted a link, and I was going to say, Elle, I'm really glad you posted that link
Oh, okay.
because I went in circles trying to find it again, and I can't remember how to get to it with, so I saved that link.
Yeah, I couldn't find it, but if you're uncomfortable clicking links, Jane, I know a lot of people are. If you go to settings and then there's that search bar, you can type in interests and then you can find it that way too. So feel free, whatever way works for you. But the link is good. I promise not spamming you
Okay,
guys.
thanks a lot.
It's worth checking out. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so mind blown. As you can see, I saw a friend. I'm like, I got to share this info with a friend. Well, what's up, Zero?
I'm really glad you shared that info. Actually, I'm going to be digging through that for a while. Yeah, that those settings menus are just kind of bunk and weird too. They're really messed up. I've complained about those too, but I can't really complain too much because I haven't provided constructive feedback yet. So I'm just like, wow, this system sucks. You guys should probably fix that. And I don't really have like somebody should probably go through there and like organize it nicely and give them like a nice layout that they could use or something. That would probably help a lot. But anyway, the original reason I had my hand up was this whole Vine thing. I honestly think they're just thinking of trying to take a piece of the pie from TikTok. Like I don't really like the idea of Vines either. Like maybe at some point they'll have something like that in like a separate short videos tab or something like that. But I think the whole idea of that is competition with TikTok and getting monetized.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. I mean, I know it's popular. I know it's the wave, right? Everyone loves the TikTok and the short videos. So it's all about making money. That's what's important. I definitely agree with you. But yeah, I think that we've been going at this for a couple hours now. I know for me, I don't really have much else of value to add to the conversation. But if there's anything else that you guys would like to share or touch upon, I'm down to do that. no biggie. Like I said, I already have my date set up with my interests. Other than that, things are pretty much a slow night for me. So what do you guys think? Anything else we should mention? You guys are working on this letter. There's been a call of action for those of you that have just joined. I see there's some newer people here. We're going to be setting up a letter to fix live streaming on X. That is the number one thing we got out of this. Periscope was amazing. If you missed out like I did, it was a vibe. And we're going to try to bring some of the amazing benefits from Periscope here to X. And Tala knows all about it. I shared some of her awesome posts up in the Jumbotron too. If you haven't checked those out, please do. The first post is just really awesome read. You can like repost it. I did. And then the second is a really cool community. If you're interested in live streaming, I would say join, check it out. You have, people that have done it, showing you how to do it. There's nothing better than that. So that's really it for me. Any closing remarks from you guys?
I just want to say that I appreciate the assistance on this because, like I said, it's been me and Gilo all this time trying to get attention on the right thing. So yeah, any help with it is fantastic because I mean that without what I had with that community, I would not have friends all over the world in Australia, New Zealand, Japan, China, so many places, and all over the United States. I would not have those connections, and they were the people who helped get me to Yosemite when I did that major hike. I mean, without that, I was very much just in my own world, in my own space, and living with a disability that was just overwhelming to me. And so that pulled me out of being very isolated. And I know there are still people who feel very isolated, that type of activity could pull them out of a very bad place. There was one woman that I helped who hadn't stepped out her front door in years. She was traumatized and severely agoraphobic, and she just thought I could never broadcast, and I don't even leave my house. And one day my jaw dropped because it popped up and showed me that she was broadcasting. She didn't show her face, but she was outside her house. Okay? So this is the kind of thing that has happened. I had a number of people who told me that I stopped them from doing something desperate. You know what I'm saying? And I've been that person in the past. So if you can form those kind of connections that really, really helps people, then it's something worth preserving. So I do appreciate the backup on it. Thank you.
Wow, that alone should be a clip that we send in because that was so perfect. It just encapsulated it. Great. That was awesome. And it was natural, right? Like just shot from the hip. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm definitely in on this fight, I guess we'll call it a fight to get it back, fight to fix it, all the good stuff. And go ahead, Zero. I really appreciate you guys. You really made the conversation, and I've learned so much myself.
Yeah, this has been actually a pretty awesome space. I'm actually really glad that little pop-up was down there that showed up, and I clicked on it because yeah, that's how I got in here. I don't even know whose name was on it when it popped up. I don't know if they're even in here, but it popped up saying the space was live, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'll check it out. Why not? Because I just finished my stream and I was just like sitting around doing nothing. So yeah, it's been an awesome space. Thank you very much for letting me speak. It's been very informative and very interesting. Tala is going to DM me this cool idea, correct? And then I am going to type something up on the computer about it. I'm going to make it into a very presentable format, and then we're going to send it all over the place. I'll get people I know on here to talk about it and spread it around, and you do that, and we can both post it, and we'll get people to quote post it and share it and post it around, and we'll tag people, and eventually, if it gets through enough people, it should get somewhere where somebody will get eyes on it and say, hey, this is a cool idea. I'm going to pitch this idea and we can do it. And then it doesn't matter who takes credit for it. As long as it gets done, everybody's happy, right? Sounds like an awesome idea. So make sure you DM me, just write up what you can, try and make it make the most sense, and then I'll run with that, and I'll give you feedback, you give me feedback, get some other people involved if you want, and we'll run with it. We'll try and make it as clear and concise and simple and easy to understand as we can. Like I might even do like up a map on the computer or something, and like a kind of like a mock display of what it should look like, and we can look through that together or whatever. And then we'll even send that to them, and we'll just do a whole thing on it because I'm actually really stoked about this. So thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm on board. And like I said before, so many of us do spaces often that we could even talk about it there, right? Once we have something written up, it'll help those of us, like even myself, that maybe I'm not so informed on this topic, or I wasn't before today, I'll have something to talk about, right? I'll have that Word doc in front of me and I'll bring it up. I mean, I know I'm not afraid to take the mic. Tala is definitely not afraid to take the mic. Zero, you're busy, like in your stream, we can just talk about it. That's what we need to do because people just don't know. And I think once they hear the things you guys are talking about, they're going to be as blown away as I am. Like, okay, this is what we have
I
to
have
do.
a call to action for you then. If I plan a time to do a live stream broadcast and show you what I used to do, will you guys show up for it?
Yeah, I will show up. I will share it. I'm in. I was thinking that, planning something, but that would be perfect. If you want to host that and show us what it was like firsthand, we'll have that on a clip, on a
Awesome.
video. Yeah, I love that.
I might be busy when you do it, but record it or let it be on the screen or something.
Well, the broadcast stays up. It's there. In fact, we even still have some of the broadcasts from back in the day that are accessible. Gilo shares his stuff regularly, but I can plan it for a time that is most convenient for the most people if you guys just let me know.
I have like 2 months off right now. I'm basically just on holiday. So I got.
Well, so what the heck?
Then
Why
why
are
would
you
he be
talking about you
busy?
might be
The
busy?
problem is I got lots of little projects and I never know what I'm going to be doing. Like I could be outside working on the gazebo. I could be going to the beach. I could be fishing. I could be
Zero. I'm done with you. I'm
so
done.
random. I'm so random.
You've got to be able to see what it is I do. Otherwise, you're not going to be a good representative telling somebody you need to support this.
I will make time for it. Trust me, I'm so stoked on this. I will make time for it.
That is too funny. I might be in the gazebo. Well, yeah, we will figure it out. I think it's a great idea if you could maybe make a poll or, ask around the best time and let's make it happen because that's true. Unless we've seen it firsthand, how do we know what to say?
Hey, Travis, this guy's the reason I'm doing my stupid live stream.
Travis, yeah. I asked Travis to join the community as well. I don't know whether he did. I'm going to put him on the spot now.
I didn't see the request. Hello, everyone. I don't know what the space is about, so I'm just going to listen for a sec.
Well, you can find a link to one of my posts that's in the community, and that'll take you straight to it.
Yep, Travis, if you go to the Jumbotron, since you're on the hot seat, you just go over one. It is the center post there, and you can see that go live checklist from Tala and join in the live stream community. Welcome. I also shared, if you guys didn't see, Jane made a comment. She said, "Oh my, I'm interested in everything. I don't recall checking off all these boxes."
Me too. And I am not interested in fashion and beauty. Okay, I don't wear makeup. I'm a tomboy. I hate the color pink. Why is that check marked?
I think I might have those same check marks. What the heck?
What shade of lipstick are you wearing today?
Well, it's funny because it actually says that list is put together based on things that I've posted on or posted myself. So
It's
it's like,
anything you've ever opened or talked about.
I mean, I might have said something about baking bread once. I mean, I don't bake bread, okay? I don't like cooking channels.
I'm not
It's like,
interested in
where did they come up with
basketball.
that? But I must have went to, I don't know. But that's, yeah, so it's not something that I actually check off. I guess it's what the algorithm thinks my interests are. I don't know if you can alter that or not. I could just uncheck them all, see what happens again,
That's
but
what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know.
It needs to stay defaulted to what you decided, but it won't. Anything you open or accidentally open or comment on, it goes, "Oh, you're interested. Let's add that."
Wow, that's
Right, that's what's
crazy.
so funny. Yeah, that you actually mentioned this before too about Facebook. That's another thing that I just can't stand when it says most relevant. It's never right. It's never even the comments I want to see. My comments that I want to see are always hidden. Just show me the comments. I know,
You can't even
unrelated, but I
find,
just
you
thought of
can't
that.
even find, okay, you get a notification that someone replied to you, and you tap on it. It opens the comment section, but not the comment to you. That changed a few years ago to where you can't find the person that you were trying to talk to. It's crazy. It's like they don't want you to interact.
Yeah, I agree. My notifications on there are always random. It's never even what people are saying to me. I don't know. Facebook it's a whole mess. It's hard for me to use it. I just keep it because I feel like you just have to have it, and you already have everyone you've met in your entire life on there, so you can't really just like quit. But that's a whole nother mess on its own. Yeah, go ahead, Zero.
Yeah, I have Facebook too, but the only reason I'm still on Facebook is literally because my mom uses it, and because when I was in Cambodia, I met a lot of people there, and I added them on Facebook there because X wasn't a thing when I was there. So that's literally the only reason I'm still on Facebook. Because if I just went to X, I'd lose contact with all the people I've met in Cambodia. That's literally the only reason I'm still on there.
Family, so many people, same with me, but also that's where the majority of my lupus community contacts are because that's where I started my advocacy and awareness work. So if I were to ditch Facebook, I not only wouldn't have a platform where I can talk to my mom online, but I would cut off that major support base that is everything that started what I'm doing now. So yeah, I still have Facebook.
Right, right. That's true too, Zero. I think everyone I've met when I've studied abroad or anything like that, we always added each other on Facebook, not even Instagram. So yeah, it's not going anywhere. But I'm definitely not as active on there as I am here. I just go check in, go down the feed, try to see what's up with people, and then I come back to X, switch apps really quick. But Travis, I know you kind of joined us towards the end as we were wrapping. We were talking all sorts of social media stuff and the algo and Periscope and lots of good things. I don't know if you have anything you'd like to mention or any opinion. I see that you inspired Zero, right? That's what he said, to do some live streaming. So is that something that you do on here pretty often?
Um, I've done maybe 8 or 10 live streams. Yeah, they've been really fun. They're awesome. I encourage everyone to try it and check it out. It's super fun. It's a little nerve-wracking at first when you first start it up because you'll forget to turn on comments. You'll forget to like have a good title. You might actually start a space instead of a live stream, things like that. But once you've done one, it's a lot of fun. It's yeah, I encourage everyone to give it a try. Um, it yeah, it's kind of the way I actually won a Apple Vision Pro off of, X by being nominated from Hot Takes and some other people. The guy who started TED Talks, he, sent out a tweet saying, "I'm giving away 10 Apple Vision Pros to people, so nominate someone you think is good." And I was nominated, I think, a lot of it was due to this random acts of kindness thing I was doing, kind of just to honor my niece who is dead. She used to do nice things just randomly. So I was inspired by that. And I jokingly also kind of started a little campaign to do an X community outreach to show that not everybody that uses Twitter is a piece of shit. So it was a little thing I was doing where I was just handing out random money to people at a local grocery store. I thought it would be super easy to go do something nice, and it turned out to be very hard. It was very strange. First of all, I went to Walmart and I asked them if I could buy like 5 $20 gift cards, and they're like, you can't pay. Like they said, they gave me a whole bunch of shit. Like they wouldn't let me put it on my card, and I said, let me just pay cash. And they're like, no. And then they called over like a manager, and she's like, what do you need these for? And I'm like, for my mom. And they're like, what's your mom's name? I said, I don't know. And they go, oh, now you don't know your mom's name, huh? So it turns out they have this policy because of scammers. They don't want people to be able to buy a bunch of gift cards because some of these online scammers get you to go buy them some gift cards and give you the activation codes or whatever. So I guess to protect you, Walmart won't let you buy a bunch of gift cards. So it was very strange and it turned into a weird situation. I felt like they were about to call the cops on me. So it got really weird. So I just went to another store close by and I figured I'd just give away cash. And so I live streamed this and told the little story that I just told you guys. And I just walked up to random people and tried to give them 20 bucks. And a lot of people wouldn't look at me. They're very like just skeptical. And I guess I can understand why, because who's just going to walk up and give you money? So it was really strange. But I lost my job.
Travis,
So
you're,
it's like, yeah,
Travis, you're actually not the first person to have this experience. One of our live streamers did that. I think it was Blaine in Utah, and he had the same experience. People are suspicious. They don't want to take the money.
yeah, it was a lot harder than you would think. So it actually turned out to be pretty good content though. The challenges of trying to just do something nice, it actually makes for very good content. I'd like to do more of it, but yeah, I just lost my job, so I'm having to like be a little bit frugal right now for a little while. And yeah, I also did another one where I tried to give people money to pay for their gas, and that was a little bit easier, except for the first time I had to wait forever because most people just use their card. I was waiting to see somebody who was paying in cash and had a shitty car because I didn't want to help out someone who doesn't need it. So, yeah, that was really interesting. But also I was on rollerblades, so that might have like made people think I was sketch.
That would look a little weird, probably, yeah.
The quick exit road, eh?
Yeah, but everyone try live stream. It's super fun. I've also done some cooking shows. And yeah, I randomly just decided to live stream while I was on a elliptical machine. So I'd breathe in really heavy, and the machine was super squeaky. And I think that's where I inspired Zero to do what he's doing. So yeah, give it a try, guys.
Yeah, Travis's streams are better than mine. All I do is I put the camera on, I do some push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and then I basically run on a treadmill until I kill myself. It's like a Saturday. It's like a Saturday tradition now. Travis has done some really interesting stuff though. He was making like pasta one day, like noodles and the egg and all that stuff. He was like feeding it through a pasta making machine and like hanging it on the dryer and telling everybody how he was doing some pretty intricate stuff the one day there too. He's had some pretty interesting different streams.
That's awesome. And I know you said you just do your little videos, you do a couple push-ups, but you never know who that might inspire. Sometimes you just see a little fitness post and it's like, you know what? Let me do it. Like for me, my spin bike stares at me sometimes and I'm like, oh, am I gonna hop on? Or am I gonna maybe do a space? Or what am I thinking? And maybe they see your video and they decide I'm gonna work out.
Saturday.
So never know. But yeah, guys, I had such a good time today. I had a lot of fun. The space was way more interesting and interactive than I thought. It went into a lot of really positive conversations, and I feel like I've created new connections with you guys, right? We're on this mission together. We're going to be in Tala's live stream, learning all about what the streams used to be like. So I'm excited for that. Travis, we're roping you in. If Tala hasn't already, you're part of the gang. So it's happening. If you're interested in this, oh, sorry, go ahead, Zero.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. My apologies. I said I'll be letting Travis into the loop here. I'll be talking. I'll probably mention it in the our group chat there, Trav, and I'll bring it up with Jonathan and that too because they got a really really cool idea for spaces visibility and for live stream visibility, and I think it's absolutely phenomenal. We're gonna DM back and forth a bit, and then when it's like complete and that, I'm gonna post it in the our group chat if I can or whatever, and I'll get as many eyes on it as I can, and maybe we can just spread it out. I think it's actually a brilliant idea, but we'll get to it when it's refined a little.
I'm also going to message Gilo after the space is over and find the mark where we started talking about this so he can find quickly that section and listen and catch up because I think he will be interested.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, we all have jobs now, right? We're leaving here on a mission. It was a great space. And for anyone that is listening to the recording, whether it's on X or if you're listening to the replay on Audacity and you want to get involved, you like live streaming, or you just want to support the cause, please reach out to me and let me know. And I think Tala is going to be the one spearheading this. So if you are not already following her, give her a follow. Let's just all show love and support each other, get things going. We're not going to find change here unless we, come together, make a team, and make it happen. So thank you so much. Happy Saturday. I hope you guys all have an awesome evening. I really appreciated our time together. I had so much more fun than I even expected today. Lots of laughs. And I will play a little song for us.